Welcome back to my YouTube corner of the world. No, I hate that. Hate it, scrap it. Welcome back to my channel, Ethereal and Elusive. I am. And today I am a reading girly who had a bad month. I am ashamed almost to say that I went from my best reading month in April, where I read the most books I've ever read in a single month, to May. I guess I'm looking at it and I only read one less book, but it was just not a good experience reading any of them. I feel like the entire month I was really fighting a reading slump. Like I was fighting it off. I was feeling it, but I was fighting it off. Because my thing is, I really want to be intentional with rebuilding the practice of reading and going back to doing it daily like I did as a child, because I really do enjoy it. But just because you enjoy something doesn't mean that it doesn't require discipline. It doesn't require returning to it, practicing it, putting it into ritual. So, May was a struggle month for me. It was a struggle month. I don't know. I don't know. I honestly, my theory is, because I watched another booktuber who was like, they have reading slumps after they read like a really good book, and then they just get into a reading slump because it's like, what can top that? And I didn't feel that, but I do feel like because I had a really good reading month and I read really great stories, it was hard to kind of follow up and really sink my teeth into something because nothing was impressing me that much. And I did have some DNFs, and y'all aren't gonna like my DNFs, but stick with me. Stick with me, please. This is just my story. I'm just trying to tell my truth. I feel like I'm about to say some things that are just like not popular in the booktube world, but also what's popular is problematic, but that's another story for a different vlog. But one of the books, the first book that I completed actually, was an interesting experience because it was an audiobook. I listened to the audio version of the book, and I am not an auditory learner. So I never really was on the audiobook train. Also, I am legitimately a bibliophile. Like, I will sit through a book if I just like how it feels. Also, you know, I'm on 1,000 different spectrums. I'm a neurodivergent girly, so texture and how things feel matter. And that definitely shows up in my love for books. So definitely a bibliophile. If a book feels good, I will keep reading it. Really good example, but maybe not, because it's a really good book. A really good book that gets a lot of flack, I feel like, and wishy-washy. I honestly think that it gets a lot of flack just because it's written by an author of color. And I'm gonna stand on that. And I feel like a lot of people, that's a platform. That's a conversation for another day. That's a conversation for another day. But I feel really passionate about that. So best believe it will come back up. But I do feel like authors of color get highly criticized when other authors, not of color, are glorified for the most mediocre art ever. And that book is Mexican Gothic. So I really enjoyed it. I think that it's a really great story. I think I gave it 5 stars because I gobbled that book up. But one of the reasons that kept me reading outside of the story, I would have read it regardless, was how it felt. I love how the physical book felt in my hands. And so that's an example of like, I will read a book just because of how it feels. So all that to say, it was really hard for me to get through this audiobook. But my partner, fiance, has an Audible subscription, so I'm just trying to utilize those audiobook credits because he's not listening to them. So I might as well utilize it. I figured it could help me get through my TBR quicker if I'm able to find something where I can multitask and have an audiobook in my ear at the same time, which I have figured I really cannot. The only thing that I could do and listen to the book was play my favorite game ever, Stardew. And those who know. Stardew is a cute, cozy game that once you already know, like, this is like my millionth save file. And so it's like, I know the storyline, I know the mechanics, I know everything. I can play it with my brain off, which is why I love playing it. And then I can put on an audiobook and just let it go. That was the only thing I could do and actually receive the information. Because other than that, I'm not an auditory learner, and so it'll go in one ear and out the other if I don't see, if I don't feel, like if I'm not in it. So it was really tough. But all this rambling to say the first book that I finished this month was Only for the Weak. And I was really excited about this book because it was just so hyped up, and everybody said that Rome was their new book boyfriend and he was just so great and so perfect. And I will say this. I think that I would have enjoyed the book more if I read it physically. It was really tough. As I'm finding my footing in the audiobook world, I'm not sure how I feel about romance books being audiobooks, because it's like, unless you like really have the voice for it, it sounds cheesy. It sounds really cheesy. I did appreciate that they went back and forth between a male narrator and a woman narrator, because it was the different perspectives, and it was good to hear it in a male's voice, like what the male was thinking. But like, I just thought it was cheesy. Some of the things that they said, and I purposely played it in front of my fiance too, just to make him cringe, and he definitely cringed. But the problem was I was cringing as well, and I don't cringe. Like, I'm comfortable with these things being played out loud, but I cringe. Like, it was cringe. And the reason why, another critique that I have, which I think just might be a me thing, is I don't really like, one of my qualms with romance books is that they always make the love interest perfect, and it just never felt believable to me. And I understand that the romance book girlies are not going for believable. They don't want to read believable. They want an escape from their life, and I get it. Books are an escape for me too. I just escape into other stories, but I do need it to feel real. I like raw emotions. I like flawed people. I like complex people. But like, this main character, love interest, Rome, I mean, there was nothing this man didn't have or couldn't do. I swear for Bob. This man had a 1,000 credit score, okay? Never had a pimple in his life, okay? Perfect person, perfect gentleman, always had the perfect response to everything. Will fight them for you, will pray for you, will like do it all, like had a good job, own half the city. Like, he was just like anything that the main character, the protagonist, had like going on in her life. He could solve every one of her problems. He cared about it. He was able to read her. He knew her like mannerisms and dispositions and how she felt without her even saying it. He could read it. And I'm like, y'all don't spend that much time around each other. I mean, when the story happens, they've known each other prior, but they didn't really spend like hardly any time around each other. And the main character makes sure to note that, of like, this person basically ignored me the entire time I've known them. And so it's like, how can you read her? How do you don't know her mannerisms? You don't know what her facial expressions mean. You don't know. Like, you're not perfect. But he was perfect. He was that guy. He was that guy. I'm not gonna lie. He was that guy. But it's just not practical. It's not realistic. It wasn't it. I don't like love stories for that reason. But for what it was good. For what it was good. I'm just not that girl. And I love that for the girlies who like romance, for the girlies who like, sex scenes. Amazing. One thing that I did really enjoy was the body positivity in the book. I did really enjoy that a lot because the main character, she was curvy, okay? And they made sure to mention that like multiple times. Like, I don't want you to think that she is a stick. She got curves and she looks good in her curves. It also addressed deeply toxic family dynamics. And while I think that could have been explored more, at the end of the day, that's not what the book was about. The book is about love. So it was a B plot. And see, I guess that's my thing. Like, now you can see like the type of books I like to read. That would be the main plot. That would be the main thing. And then the love will take like the back seat, because let's develop our characters first. Like, and that's another thing with romance. I don't feel like the characters are developed. I feel like they're just perfect. They're just perfect. Except like here's a typical romance story. The protagonist is quirky, awkward. Things aren't quite going in their favor. They're having these embarrassing moments, saying the wrong thing or in these weird situations, and they just feel so rejected and so lonely and like whatever. And then they meet their love interest, who is perfect and fill in every gap of their life, every problem that they have, this person can solve, and the person automatically wants them back. But there might be a little push and pull. There might be a little guessing. But at the end of the day, the person's going to want them back, and it's going to be perfect, and their life is going to be 10 times better because this person has come into their life and loved them. And I just think that is just not the message that is serving us, girlies. I don't think that messaging has served us when we were watching Princess Fairy Tales, and I don't think it serves us now. I think it paints an unrealistic picture of life, and that's just not what I'm about. So yeah, I feel like there was a positive thing I was going to say about the book. It did what it needed to do. It did what it was supposed to do. I just didn't like what it was supposed to do. And I did. Oh, okay. So the one positive thing I will say, because the book was good. I want to emphasize, the book was good. Go read it if this is what you like. Also, it's an author of color. So go read it and support it if you like romance. Because if you don't, it's not going to be your thing. But the one positive thing that I did enjoy is that there was an aspect, a problem, one would say, a layer of complexity that came up that didn't have a cookie cutter, like, happy ending conclusion to it. Like, it's kind of like, even though this book is ending, this main character is still going to have to process this and figure out how to move through it. And that I liked, because that was the only realistic thing about the book. Moving along. The next book that I started reading, I'm sorry, girlies, y'all gonna be so mad at me, was The Lamb. The complete opposite. Complete opposite of a romance book. Well, maybe not. It's definitely sapphic. Definitely a sapphic girly. Yeah, I'm disappointed. Because all the booktube girlies told me that this book was phenomenal. Like, if you like horror, if you're a horror girly, this was it. This was giving sapphic. This was giving horror. This was giving it all. And I mean, look at the cover. That is a book cover. that is a horror book cover. Like, the cover is giving. And I've seen other editions of the cover, and I was like, I would have never picked that up. But this, I'll pick up. This I'll pick up. And I don't know if you can see, there's like teeth there around the meat. It's giving horror. Let me read y'all the first line of the book. I was so hyped starting this. I was so hyped. The first line of the book. On my 4th birthday, I plucked 6 severed fingers from the shower drain. Grotesque. I mean, like, where could you go wrong starting a book with the most grotesque line you could think of? You know what I mean? The girlie said that this gave, and for me, it did not give. It did not give. You can see I made it to about 50. I think my Fable app say I'm at 50% of the book when I DNF'd it. Can you see that? Yeah, about 58% of the book when I DNF'd it. Here was my issue. Nothing was happening. And I'm not the type of person, I don't need something to happen every second of the book. And I think that's really evident in how much I love Mexican Gothic. I will reference that book again because I don't feel like it gets the hype that it deserves. It is a brilliant Gothic novel. I was so engrossed in it every time I sat down to read it. It was such a beautiful experience. And that might be the reason why I was in a reading slump this month. To be real, I think that was the last book I finished where I was like, yeah, that might be the problem. I loved it too much. But say all that to say, like, I don't need something to happen every single moment of the book, but I do need you to, like, really pull me in and get me to start asking questions. And at 50% of the book, what page is this? At 171 pages, I should be asking questions. I should be wondering what's gonna happen. I should be like, the anxiousness should be building in me, like, as I read it, to make me just like, because it takes me a while to get into something new. Once again, neurodivergent girly, transitioning books is not always the easiest process for me. But once I get to almost 200 pages, I should be fully engrossed in the book. And at this point, I wasn't. Like, nothing was happening. Things were happening because the book is a book about cannibalism. Basically, it has cannibalism in it. It's not about cannibalism, but it has cannibalism in it. And so things were happening. They were doing that. They were eating, but still nothing was happening. It makes me so mad. There were no questions to be asked because nothing was happening. And I mean, it wasn't even like, oh my gosh, are they going to get caught? And I mean, maybe that becomes a question later in the book. But at this point, it's like, no, like, because the main characters, which is on the back of the book, it's on the book flap anyways. The main character and her mom, like, live in this secluded place in the middle of the woods. So I never questioned, are they going to get caught? Like, I don't think that is the main point of the plot. But the fact that I'm 171 pages in and a relatively, like 50%, and that's 50% of the book. Why don't I know what the plot is? I don't know what the point is. I don't know the climax that they're trying to reach. I don't know. I have no anticipation built. And so it was just like, and I was talking to my one friend who is like a reader. She reads way faster than me, way more books than me, whatever. And I was talking to her about it. And every time I talk to her about a book like this, she's like, DNF that book. She will be the first person to tell me not to finish it. And I'm like, no, I want to finish it. And the thing is, I do want to finish it. I don't hate this book enough to necessarily never come back to it. I do want to come back to it. I just said not right now. Not right now. I think I'm going to revisit this in the fall, probably October, because that's when I'm really in a spooky, cozy mood. But the thing is, I'm always in the mood for horror. So I don't know if that will make a big difference, but it's definitely a different vibe than being in springtime. Like summer, there's flowers out. I'm frolicking in fields and blowing bubbles, and I'm reading this. Maybe I'm just not in the mood. Maybe I don't care because I'm not in the mood. We'll see. So I DNF'd it for now, but I'm not gonna like put it in my donation pile because it's a brand, like this book is in brand new condition and I just have to give it a chance because it looks so good. Look at this. I want it to be one of the books that I display, like, but I can't display something that I haven't really finished and I don't know if it's good. So we'll see, Lucy Rose. We will see. And then the third book that I picked up and started reading is this book called Just for the Cameras. And I was so excited about it. It's queer. It's queer Nigerian throuple vibes. Body posy, sex worker posy. Just giving all of the things. It just gave a lot. Okay, so I did DNF this book, but not because the book wasn't good. I want to be very clear when I say this. This book gives what it needs to give. This might be TMI, but every time I picked up this book and read something, I felt very ravenous. Every time I read a passage of this book, my fiance had a great time. It does what it needs to do. However, I didn't get very far, as you can see. I'm trying to figure out why this book is so long. To be honest, it's 296 pages. I made it to 100 pages. So like a third of the way. I can't for the life of me figure out what will make this book so long. Except that maybe the author drags it out a bit. I don't want to say that though. I don't want to say that because Viano, I think I'm saying that right. Viano Oniomo, I think that's name how you pronounce it. If I'm completely wrong, y'all can tell me. But I would like to get it right, so please correct me. Viano, you did your thing. I don't want to downplay your writing. It's just that the premise of the book, the way that it's set up, I don't understand. I don't understand how it could make it to 300 pages. Like, I feel like this could be a short story. You want me to be honest? I felt like this would be perfect as a short story. But it's a whole full-length novel. And that I don't get. Because I'm not a romance girly. So I did get what I need to get from this book. Because this isn't a romance book. Let's be clear. This is smut. And it gave. Okay? It gave. But it didn't give enough. And even where the storyline was beginning to develop a little bit, like characters were growing in their complexity, I'm like, okay, the best way that I can describe this, right? We're all adults here. If you've ever seen like y'all all have, let's not cap. Do not come on my page to cap. You know that have a storyline to them, but the whole premise is to end up that's what this is. Because that's literally what every scene ended up in. Every single scene ended up in that. And I was just like, by page 100, I was like, this is the longest I've ever read in my life. And I'm not sure I can make it through. So this is another one like The Lamb that I'm going to revisit at another time. Maybe I have to break it up 100 pages at a time. Because I was definitely, like I said, it gave what it needed to give, but it wasn't what I wanted. So I don't know. I'm just like, well, am I pleasable at this point? Because I started with romance, I went to horror, then I went to smut, and none of the books were giving. So finally, the final book that I read and finished, so I finished 2 in DNF 2, and the final book that I read and finished was Creepers Stage Fright. Now, Creepers, maybe you have a different association with it, but this is how I was introduced to Creepers. It is a book series, a short, little cute little novella, middle grade horror series that they sell at every single Dollar Tree in my area. And I always thought the covers were so cute, and I was like, I knew it was middle grade, you know, but I was like, I want to see what this is about. And I also realized I learned from watching another booktuber, I don't know their name off the top of my head, but maybe I'll tag them in the video because they make really good content, and they actually talk about books that are not like the normal popular booktube books, but like, and they read so much variety. It's just such an amazing channel. But I learned from them that reading like little novellas or like shorts are really good palate cleansers. And so because I had 2 books that I thought I was going to absolutely devour turned out to be DNFs, I was like, maybe I need something short that's just a palate cleanser. And I finished this within like an hour or 2. I am a slow reader. I know most people could finish this in 30 minutes. But I finished this in an hour or 2, and I felt good. The story was enjoyable enough. I really don't have any critiques because I really didn't expect anything. It was $1.25. Who cares? It's $1.25 and it's 123 pages. Who cares? Just read it. Just enjoy the experience. And that's what I was doing. So I don't know what that says, that I was able to finish this, but not The Lamb. But also, this is shorter than how much I read in The Lamb. And this got to the mother effing point. That's all I'm saying. Don't shoot me. I'm just telling my truth. So that was what I read in May. It was not a good reading month. I did not enjoy it. But I'm really looking forward to June. And I'm actually about to film my June TBR next. So stay tuned for whenever that will drop. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for yapping. Thank you for being elusive and ethereal and not letting these people define you or put you in a box. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and even better, even the bestest would be to drop a comment, no matter what the comment says, as long as it's posy. But above all else, I wish y'all well. Be blessed.